Hello and welcome. This is Ruth, and today I've got one of Tonic's 2024 birthday week launches, and this one is called the Once Upon a Time Keepsake die set, and it's a big die set. I've got one part of it here on an A4 magnetic sheet and the rest of it just on my big magnetic stand because I don't want to lose any of it. And there are 39 dies here. So before I go any further, I know some of you will ask at the end, so I'll tell you now that the finished book size is 180 millimeters by 130 millimeters by 30 millimeters deep, and that equates to 7.1 inches by 5.1 inches by 1.1 inches. So we've got this die set, and then there's also a little packet of foil fusion adhesive sheets which are sold separately, and these are A5 size, and you will get 4 in a pack. So you can see there that they've got little elements that you can add onto your book here whenever you have that made up, and these will be used in conjunction with Tonic's foil fusion. So that's a recent addition to Tonic's crafting arsenal there. Really beautiful, and I'll show you how you'll be able to use some of those because I'm going to use this little sheet with my book here. So before I go any further, don't forget, if you want to see some more of this kind of video, you could subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell. I've got loads and loads of videos already on my channel that you might like to have a look back at. And I know lots and lots of you are watching and you're not subscribed, but I would really love you. It doesn't cost anything. I'd really love you to subscribe and hit that notification bell and just keep up to date with all the videos. But thank you so much to everybody who does watch my videos, who keeps in touch and lets me know what they think and all the rest of it. You can leave me a big thumbs up anyway and leave me a little comment as well, because that really helps me and helps my channel along as well. My affiliate links too for everything that I use will be down below in the description of the video, so thanks very much to everybody who uses those already. I do really appreciate that. Now, I usually have a quick look through these dies and tell you all sorts of things that you could make with them as well, so I'll just do that very briefly today. There are rectangular dies there that you could use for matting, layering, and also for making frames. And then this beautiful die here has no outside or inside cutting edges. It's only got these little lines here, so that's going to cut that pattern into a piece of card. And if you want to cut it out and have a flat piece in the center, you'll use that outside cutting edge along with it. And if you want to cut the inside and the outside, you'll use both of those together. Then we've got this die that can be used on its own. This one also cuts out on its own, but if you cut that from the center of a piece that you're already using, you're going to get these little pinhole effects around the outside of it as well. And that one then can also be used with this, which is a really beautiful symmetrical die that you can use sort of portrait or landscape orientation. And then we've got this beautiful die in the center here, and that says Once Upon a Time. So there's little areas there that you can cut that one out with as well. Beautiful little corner dies, a little latch there. And then these pieces are all bits and pieces that you can add to that. But once you open this book up, you can create your own little fairy tale scene inside with lots of these dies. So don't forget that there's so many really beautiful pieces here that you don't have to use them all with this. You can use them with this, of course, but keep an eye on where you have these, because I'm sure you'll want to use these for other things as well. Really pretty little dies. And then who doesn't love a little luck? You can add that onto your card, onto other sort of 3D projects and all sorts of things. So I'm going to leave it at that, but I'm going to get some card out now and I'll be right back. I wanted to show you some of the foil fusion on top of this. So I went through the colours and I picked out this beautiful rose gold. So that then led me in the direction of picking some some rose platinum mirror card, whoops, and some satin effect burnished rose as well, and those look really lovely on ivory card, and they match in with this really well as well. I've also picked out some snowbound speciality card. I think that might still be available, but if not, something else similar to that would be just perfect for it. So on your instruction sheet you'll find a cutting list, and that will show you what to go ahead and cut. So first of all, you're going to need 4 of these. That's the very outside, the biggest die in the rectangle set, and I've cut that out 4 times. And then the spine, and I'm going to show you these two. Let's see if I can fit that in. Yeah, this one and this one look similar, but you'll know this is the spine because it's got the wording in it. It's just slightly different in size, not too much difference, but that's how you know that's the spine. So first of all, I have cut out the spine here, and I've attached one of the fronts, the bigger rectangles, onto here and here. So looking at that close up, you can see the inside of it here. The fold lines are there and the glue tabs are there, and I've joined the two, the front and the back, really together with that spine in the middle. Then I've taken this little die. I've cut this out in the same card, and I've just measured halfway up this and glued that on by this little glue tab. So you'll see there are 3 folds in it here, and I've just glued one of them onto there, and then that's where I can start sort of assembling this book. Now I can go back and take 2 more of these, so that will depend on whether you actually want them exactly the same or not. But for now, I've actually just picked that ivory again. This is 300 GSM ivory smooth card. Just bring it out just. So there we are. And now that I've got this tab on here, and I've also got the spine in, I want to strengthen both of these, the front and the back. So I'm going to go ahead with exactly the same size of die. So that's why you cut 4 of them. And I'm going to glue those directly on top. And just make sure you've got all of the corners really well lined up before you actually finally press that down on that glue. So now I have taken the long narrow rectangle die, and you'll find that just inside that spine die that I've already used, so it just fits in there, and I have cut that out in some snowbound card. So you could just cut it out in plain ivory, but I just reckoned that that would be really lovely on there. Hopefully you can see the beautiful shine and pattern of that, but it would look really nice on plain ivory as well. I've then taken the same outside die and this die, and I have cut those both together on the beautiful mirror card, and it has given me this lovely shape. But you can see I've got some tape across that at the moment because I then taped the debossing sentiment die on top of it, so it doesn't actually cut out, but it debosses, and you do need to put plenty of tape across that to hold it so that it doesn't move. But look at that, isn't that beautiful? Gives you Once Upon a Time. Now that could go directly onto the spine of the book like that, and it would be really nice, or you could put the satin in behind it, but I'm just going to glue it on top of this and then glue that onto the spine of the book. Now you'll need to cut out 2 of the smaller size panels, and 2 each of these. So this is the side panel and this is the bottom panel, bottom and top. And then don't forget to reinforce all those score lines and make them really crisp as well. So I've done all that, and what the back panel that I've cut out is actually cut from the snowbound as well, because I just thought that would be a really nice background. So I am going to glue these all in here. You'll see that the glue tab will go on the back there, just like that, and then the side panels on here and on the other side here, and then this one on here, and then I'm going to join the side tabs of all of these together and make a sort of a 3D little box from this. Once you've got this all ready, you can go ahead, just set it aside for the meantime, and cut out as many of these pieces as you want to make a lovely little scene inside there. And I have cut them out, and I've used a mixture of the satin effect and the mirror card, and it's really beautiful. I'm not actually sure which way around I'm going to put these or which one I'm going to use. I might keep one for a card, that would be nice too, or you could just have one peeping in from behind the other. Anyway, there are score lines and fold lines and glue tabs. These will get put on here, so you can glue this area directly onto the inside panel of the card, and that's why you don't want to go ahead and put this front frame on yet, because it makes it much easier to glue these in when that's not there. But you can work out what level of this that you want that on. I've cut out the little house. I've cut that out in the ivory card, and you can see here I've actually taken a little piece of card here. You could just do it in strips or even 3 tiny squares, and I'm going to put that on just behind those windows there because I thought that made a lovely little effect on there as well. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue all these pieces in. So I'll show you what I've got so far. Lots and lots, and it's a sort of a mixture between satin, mirror and plain card. Beautiful little gates and little bushes, little everything, little house, everything to match. I've got the little tree in at the back there, and I've just glued the glue tab directly right down as far as it will go on there, so onto the side but pushed it down. And I'm going to move the little house so that it's on a different sort of level from that, not right at the back, just about halfway up here I think. So glue down this tab, and you can see there I've already put the little lights or whatever, that mirror card in behind, so it kind of looks like either lights or maybe curtains or whatever. So now I'm just going to hold this up like this and pop that in. Now I'm making sure that this part is right down at the bottom, but that the rest of it is about halfway across the side here, only on the opposite end obviously. I've got this little die out twice from the mirror card, and I've glued it in here, and then that gives me the placement for here. So I'm just going to put glue on the last 2 of these on each side and put the little gate down directly on top of that, and that meets up in the middle then. And I'm sort of leaving that kind of loose just so that the little gate looks like it's open and a little bit more inviting, but I will be putting some of the little shrubbery in there too. There's my other little gate. Obviously there's all sorts of ways that you can decorate this, and these ones with the flowers sort of in the bigger sizes would be more prominent, and you could put those at the front. But I wanted to keep this little house down quite low like that because I kind of had in my head that I would have a sort of a tree sort of coming down the other way at the back. So when I had cut this out twice, I was going to sort of overlay one from the other, but then I had this idea that that might actually look nice coming here. So what I've done is just cut the trunk off that. I don't know where I've put it, but yeah, there it is. So I've cut this piece off, and I'm now going to glue that so it's a sort of tree sweep at the top of a tree sweeping down the way, and glue that tab up in there as well. And that's just another little way of using those dies. You could build up a really lovely little scene by putting these just wherever you like. I'm not going to put that in at the back because I want it at a kind of slightly different level from the last one. So just about there. So now I've got this part ready, and I want to make the little frame area for over the top of that, and I'm going to use the snowbound paper as well because I think that's really, really lovely, and of course it'll match in with the spine and whatnot, and then the decoration that I'm going to do on the front. So I have taken the second size in of rectangle, and I've cut this out, so it's not the same size as this, it's the same as the background of the box. And then I want to cut this little frame out of in here so that I get this area to glue on around that. So just to get the placement of this right, you can set this little die right on top of that one, and make sure that's centered, and then you center the second one, the one in the middle, and whenever you come to tape it down, you'll only tape the middle one down, and you can just put tape along there and tape it onto here, and you can do that the whole way around, and then all you need to do is remove this one, and that means this one then is in the right place. I always put a little bit of extra tape on it just to be sure, and then I'll run that through my die cutting machine, and that will make me the lovely little frame. Then I can add some decoration on top of that, but this now will cut out the center. I used the same 3 dies then to cut this out, but I used the 3 of them together, and that gave me the beautiful layer that I've put on top. I've just glued that directly onto the one that I cut from the snowbound card, and now I'm going to put that on there. Well, I'm actually just going to set it there for a minute or two and check this. I've had a little look, and I think there's something sort of missing in the center of that. So there's a little tree die here, and this one actually is supposed to go up at the top and sort of make a, you know, a sort of hilly landscape and you've got a tree up at the top or whatever there, because the glue tab's up there, but I don't want to add it up at the top, so I am just going to follow around with the trees here and sort of curve around there. Then this doesn't have any glue tabs at all. I'm going to remove this and I'm just going to glue that down in the back there, in behind the house, and it will just sort of stand out a little bit more and add some into that area that's looking a bit empty at the minute, and it also will make that little house stand out as well. And once I've got this on, then I'll go ahead and add that lovely little frame on the outside. I like that little tree so well. I cut another one out from satin card and just popped it in there and put it down further near the bottom, and yeah, I think that looks much better now. I'm very happy with that. So when you're going to glue this on, then you don't need to put glue all over this area because that's just too much. It's not necessary right out to the edge. So just pop it right down here, the whole way down, a little bit more than that of course, the whole way around. Better on this than on this, and then glue the two together. Taken these dies, so it's the long narrow ones, and they're found inside the dies that you use to cut the edges of these, and I've cut them out in the glitter card, and that glitter card goes really beautiful with that. It is called Pink Frosting and it's beautiful with those two other colours. So now I want to glue this onto the centre of the back panel, and you can see there that I haven't decorated anything else yet. I'm going to go ahead and do that afterwards, but I want to glue that centrally in there and then we'll go ahead from there. Now, because I've used the 300 GSM card on both of the inside and the outside panel, I think it would have been better maybe to use lighter weight card there. It would have closed over a little bit easier. I could have added more layers on if I'd wanted. It's absolutely fine now, but if I add too many more layers on, then that's going to cause a difficulty. So remember that whenever you're doing yours, I'll actually add that in at the start, a little edit onto the top of the video, just in some wording to let you know that. But that's why I'm not going ahead and adding too many layers onto this panel. So first we'll just glue this one on then. So I want to add this onto a piece of ivory card, and I'm just going to cut it out here, just go around the outside of it, and then I'll put it onto the ivory card and add the foil onto the top of that, and then I'll die cut it after that. So I've got a piece here. I'm going to take this off and place it directly down like that, and then burnish that really well with my little bone folder. You can carefully remove the carrier sheet, and you can place the gold foil directly down on top of that. So you'll place the foil down with the shiny side up, the foil side up, just like that, and then burnish it again, and it'll come away as soon as everything's attached. I actually die cut that then before I added the next sentiment. I'm going to add the little sentiment into the center, and I wanted to foil that, but I wanted to foil it after I had actually die cut that out, because I want to make that the smaller layer and attach it straight onto some glitter card. So that worked out pretty well, and now I'm just going to choose a little sentiment here. Again, I just cut out the sentiment off the carrier sheet here. I've put it straight onto the center of this, and I'm just doing exactly the same thing. It's actually, this is the most important part here, to make sure that you have all of that attached before you actually take this off, because even if you haven't got everything attached with the foil, you can go back and do that, but you can't really go back a second time with this. Now I've layered that onto the bigger glitter die cut and just put it on the inside of the book there. So going back to the front of the book here, I've got two little pieces here that fit through this little lock part, and they're cut with this die, and all I need to do is glue them both together just around that ring part there. The little holes, that part goes together, and then you can line that up and just make sure the little holes are lined up properly. Then put glue on the back of it, like so. And you can set it down here and you'll be able to line it up with this. So you slide that over the top and then hold that into place like that. When you take that off, then you'll be able to use that as a guideline for attaching the rest of your layers. So I have taken the second size down, so it's not the big one that the actual book cover was cut out of, it's the next one down, and then the detailed pattern one. And I'm going to put this on here, and you can see you can just line that up over the top of that. You can see then that I've used those two little dies together to make this little decoration for that part. And then on the top of this, I have used this die in the mirror card, and then I've used this one in ivory, and then I've used this one and this one together in glitter card, and that has given me this beautiful panel for the front of it there. It's really, really sparkly. So I'm going to put that on there and then have a little look and see if the book needs anything else. Of course it needed a few extra bits and pieces. So this is the little tassel, the die for making the tassel, and I have cut it out in the satin card here, and then I have curled that around a little bit, just round a little pen, and then sort of to mold the fibres a bit so that this doesn't crack. I've got my little quilling tool here, and that's actually just the easiest way to do this, although you could just roll it by hand as well. So if you slip the slip that card right in there and roll that all around, just keep the top of it level the whole way, and then you can add some glue when you're coming to the end. You could actually add glue the whole way, just whatever you like, but that's really all you need. And then slip this back out again and hold that, and it will take a second or two extra because I've got satin mirror card or whatever in there. And then all we need to do now is put some glue down in the center there and pop some ribbon down in. So this is Crafter's ribbon, it's ivory white, Craft Perfect, and I'm just going to slip that down in there. I'm going to give it a little push down with my pokey tool just to make sure that it's attached to the glue okay and not just sitting there. So get that down in there, and then I can decide how long I want that on the other side of the book. And let's just see, I suppose I'll have it about there. Yep. So I'm going to cut that off roughly about here, and then I will glue that directly in here. And as you can see, I have cut a little strip of the snowbound paper just to go on over the top of that, because this wouldn't look very, very nice if I just glued it on and didn't cover it. So that's going there. And this then will cover that. With the tassel on, then the last thing to do is make the little catch for here, the little lock. So there's two little dies there, and you can have a heart-shaped lock or you can have the little square one. I've cut two of the heart ones out and glued them back to back, and I've got one side mirror card and one side is satin, so just whatever way around you like it. But you'll see that there's actually a little slit in the top. Can you see that? And that means you can just slide that through there, and there you are. Now there's a whole lot of things that you could do with this. You could have it as a book like this. You could just, let's see, we'll open it up, go through the rest of your dies or whatever you have, and you're bound to have all sorts of other things that you could put in there to make a totally different scene. You could hang bunting from the inside of it. You could make a Christmas scene. You could even add little lights in if you wanted, but you could make any kind of scene you wanted. You could make a baby card. The little fairy house, you could add details from that on it. If you really, really wanted, you could put acetate on the inside of it there. But the world's your oyster. You've got the die set. Go for it. Just enjoy it, and I would love to see what you make with that. In fact, down below the video, I would love you to tell me what you would make with that. I had a few bits and pieces left over, so it was just extra die cuts and off cuts and bits and pieces. So I had this background piece, and I also had this area as well. And I thought it would be very, very quick and easy just to make a really simple card. And it really, really is. It's very, very effective looking, but it's very, very quick and easy to make. So it was the background part, and then I slid the little glitter tree in there, the little house on there, and the frame on top of it. And I used this big die here just to cut that beautiful aperture effect around the card. And don't forget to leave the card open when you're running it through your die cutting machine, and then that'll cut it out on the one side for you. And I've got some double-sided tape in the back of this, and there you are. Bob's your uncle, and that's the card finished. Really, really quick and easy. And if you want to give this as a bit of a present and have a card to match it, well, there you are. You've two there as well. So I hope you've really, really enjoyed that. There's more birthday week stuff to come, some really, really beautiful things. So don't forget to stay tuned, hit the notification bell after you've subscribed, of course. And don't forget to give me a big thumbs up and let me know what you think. Leave me a little comment and let me know what you think about the book and what else that you might put inside it. My affiliate links will be down below, and thank you very, very much again to everybody who uses those. And until next time, happy crafting. Bye bye.